how a young entrepreneur start their own homegrown clothing brand.
This is the $1,000,000 question. I still.
How you started from zero to your maybe first 100 paying customers.
I came home one day. My husband had bought 2 second-hand machines. There was this, my father-in-law and my husband, they were standing with this coconut in their hand and they said, "Isko bas phodo aur shuru karo."
So how was your first catalog?
Don't chase trends. So we try experimenting certain silhouettes on heavier cotton, lighter cotton, structure, what are the kind of neckline will go on, what fabric, and I would wear a piece, I would make somebody else wear a piece.
I go to Khara Kapas store, a sort of premiumness that it speaks. So how does one bring premiumness to the brand?
Whenever you see a premium design space or a store, lesser, it looks better.
You have 150k followers today. What really worked for you?
It's a joke that there is not one location that Shilpi has not left. Whether it's my husband's factory, new factory, old factory, this office, this field, that field, my house, old house, new house, interim house, everywhere we've shot.
I've actually seen your workout video like yesterday when I was watching, and I noticed the shots and I was like,
when I work out, I don't go for brands, I go for comfort. So of course, like your sports bra has to be quality, but your shorts could be anything.
I'm just imagining Khara Kapas
Totally
workout clothing.
I'm like cotton boxers and workout, it's so much better.
Can we reflect a little on the return part?
We rarely get returns because mostly it's the make-to-order thing. You will get return only when you've given a damaged product, which is rarely. It doesn't happen.
What is the percentage of your customized order?
30%.
When is the right time to open a store?
I have realized that I want to have a store in 3 or 4 years. 1 year I don't do any sale. I only have to pay for my store staff and my rentals. I should be fine.
What is a good location according to you? Like,
depending on where your customer is.
which one works the best for you?
Khan does very well.
Any key reason why?
Khan is the most expensive retail space,
Yeah.
and the combination of tourists, your domestic customer, your travelers who always go to Khan.
Yeah.
The fact that you have retail and F&B together, so people go to shop, people go to eat. So there's like one place centrally located.
Fashion brands, they start and shut down within 1 to 2 years span.
You have to go all out. You cannot get bored. You cannot lose heart with small criticism.
If you want us to keep bringing such amazing entrepreneurial journeys on this platform, please subscribe to our channel, The Sonika Mata Show today. In today's podcast, we're going to talk about how a young entrepreneur can start their own homegrown clothing brand in a premium line. I've had guests over who started their own clothing brand. But what sets this one apart is that we are specifically talking about how to start a premium line and not a commodity business. So what really sets Khara Kapas premium today? What makes a line premium? How you started your brand and how you started from zero to your maybe first 100 paying customers.
Okay. So Khara Kapas, as I mentioned earlier also, it was very organic.
Yeah.
It was my instinct, which I still tell people that always follow your instinct. I love clothes. I've loved clothes always. I come from a hardcore design and art background. I'm a fine artist. I paint, studied fine art, and then of course design.
Yeah.
So when I started, it was basically I was working in the corporate setup for a couple of years, maybe three years.
Okay.
It was a short stint, and it started because I didn't know what I wanted to do when I came back to India after my studies. I was told that I'm very good at forecasting. So my
Okay.
faculty in US, I went to FIDM and they told me that you're very good at forecasting. So maybe you should do something in forecasting. And then I know the design and the fashion industry in India. And my friends are designers, they're fashion designers, and they all had started their labels by that time. And I knew that I don't want to do this. I just found the entire fashion environment not very healthy for myself. I thought it's very competitive. You have to be good at certain things to be able to make it. And that was definitely not my cup of tea. So I thought maybe I've chosen the wrong things. I'm more of an arty person, not a design person, a fashion person. So I decided to work in the corporate setup. I worked as an art director. I worked as a visual person. I did campaigns, shoots.
Okay.
And during this period, I also happened to work with, there was a venture by a certain company. They were basically selling clothes on an international, basically selling clothes on their platform for the international market. That's when I pushed them while working with them as an art director. I told them, why don't we work towards making our own line? Because I'd understood this much working in these setups that you make more money when you have your own label instead of selling somebody else's brand. So I decided to do like a small label for them, which was completely my aesthetics, my fabrics. I had full creative freedom, and everything was sold out before we knew. The response was amazing. So that small experiment was enough for me to know that, okay, you're ready, you can do this on your own. And I think also the whole thing, I don't, so in my life, I don't have gray, it's black or white. I shoot like an arrow. I don't understand how to mince words and how to be very diplomatic and all of that. So I realized that ye to nahi ho payega. The corporate setup is not made for me. And
Which year was this, by the way, just to define a timeline?
2014,
Okay.
also the year that I got married.
Okay.
And I used to come home fuming, furious, always upset about this happened in office and that happened in office. And now, this I'll tell you, but honestly, when I would come back, my husband would say that should be, this is not meant for you. You need to do something of your own. At least you'll not be so frustrated when you come back home. And he saw a lot of creativity in me, and he would always push me to do something of my own. And that's how it started. The seed actually was sown at that point of time. And then um, I came home one day, and because I was not able to take the plunge, much to my surprise, my husband had bought two second-hand machines and one small room in our house. We have an open sort of a setup, like a small room, and those two machines. And that one evening when I came back, there was this, my father-in-law and my husband, they were standing with this coconut in their hand, and they said, "Isko bas phodo aur shuru karo."
Wow. Okay.
That's how it was. He said,
Yeah.
"Till the time you will not, it will not happen." And that evening, that is it. That's when we decided कि अब तो करना ही पड़ेगा. So then came the stage of like understanding. I already knew what fabrics I wanted to work with. The name Khara Kapas was always clear in my head. That is something that I had figured out when I was in the US. When I used to walk around the streets, when I was studying design there, I just saw certain cotton brands, and the way these stores of the way cotton was displayed, or way the people were talking about cotton, and how I really thought that cotton was very, very underrated.
Yeah.
And there were not good designs in cotton. And I was a cotton wearer always, because I come from Rajasthan, and my mother's worn cotton saris always. Kota Doria is like second skin. We only wear malmal. Rajasthan is known for malmal. People don't wear any other fabric. So for me to work with malmal, voile, and cotton was just very natural. It was nothing to think about. In fact, I didn't understand those complicated textiles and anything else other than cotton. So I thought that if I have to do something, it has to be something that I truly believe, something that I wear myself, and I can style it because it's my own style. It's what my personality is all about. And if I have to do something, it has to be me.
And your husband did not have a fashion
No,
background.
no,
And
nothing.
he just
He's
got
a
the
hardcore
machines.
MBA engineer, IIT, that sort of a guy. So for him, he didn't even know the name of my college. Like I went to like a decent college, and when I got married and I told him that I've like we were discussing our education, he had no idea about my background. Design, what design? No, these guys only think about tech, business,
Got it.
geeks. So nothing. He just wanted, obviously, him being an entrepreneur and him having that sort of a mindset, he thought that I'm better off doing something of my own when I'm not reporting to somebody. Because he told me that in fact, this fact that Shilpi, you don't have gray in you, it's black and white, is something that he made me understand कि ऐसे नहीं होता है. Corporate sector में तो ऐसे नहीं चलेगा. थोड़ा सा तो जी हजूरी करनी पड़ेगी, otherwise it's a problem. So I figured out that's not my cup of tea.
So how was your first catalog, if you want to reflect, so that a young entrepreneur, when they start something like that, they can connect dots with your own story, like how they should also look at building a catalog today?
So, see, honestly, to young entrepreneurs, I would just say one thing: don't chase trends. Don't just start something because it's fashionable right now, and because everybody's doing it. If you have an idea and you truly believe in that idea, and you think you're true to yourself,
Yeah.
then you should totally go all out. But then be ready that it's not going to be an overnight success. At least for most of us, it's not that it happens overnight. You just have to be true to your idea. Of that idea is going to change things, and then just work in that direction honestly, with all your passion, fully committed, and ready to commit all out, which means that you will be everything in the beginning. You will be the designer, the textile person, the graphic person, sometimes even the tailor, the runner, the person who's be ready to like wear all hats, because you know, if you want to start something like me where you don't have funding, you want to do it from your own money. I don't know of any entrepreneur who's not done anything. They've done everything, they've worn all hats. So that you have to be ready for. You need to be clear about what you want to do. You're not chasing trends. You know that this is the idea, this is the product, and you're sure about it. And then you go all out. Then be ready for har taraf haath maro, matlab lage raho. That's the only way that
So, Shilpi, when you made your first catalog in 2014, will you be able to tell me how it really looked like? And how did you really even produce it? I know you got two machines. Was that enough?
yeah. So I had like one tailor and one cutting master G, and and I of course had my sketches and my fabrics and everything in place. My initial round was actually sourced from Jaipur, Rajasthan. I got some fabrics and I made my first collection. I was at that time, I was the person who was doing all the test fits on myself until this date. Every product that I make, I try it on myself multiple times. Because you know, there's certain things, whether the armhole is right, whether the neckline is fine. Indian bodies are different. Female bodies change age. We also make people in our team wear various dresses, various body types wear the same dress, so that we understand how it's going. That time it was also the same. I would wear the pieces on my own. Of course, we had mannequin and all of that. And then we put a collection together of 15 silhouettes, 15 to 16 silhouettes that I thought were best to my style and taste. And I shot it in my outside my streets, my home streets. My first catalog was shot literally outside my house with a photographer friend of mine. And we shot, there was no extra light, nothing, natural light, and that's it. And
Okay.
we had the images ready with us. And I started with the Instagram,
Okay.
and of course the pop-ups. I did like series of pop-ups, all possible pop-ups in a span of, I think, first 1 year I did a lot of pop-ups in Delhi, in Bombay, everywhere, wherever I got an opportunity. Before 1 year, actually, I think in a matter of 2 or 3 years, 2 or 3 months, I started getting a lot of WhatsApp messages, you know, because you give your WhatsApp messages. People started pinging me, what's the price of this? What's the price of this? Women started coming to my house because my visiting card had my house address. And then we realized कि ये तो नहीं हो पाएगा. I mean, if you have to do it properly, you cannot just depend on pop-ups and these WhatsApp messages. So we immediately launched a website, which happened within 2 months of starting the brand. The website was on. So anything, we've not started international shipping at that point of time. It took us 2 months to get our import-export license, but it's a very easy process. You get it. And so that's it. People started buying online from my website.
I remember reading about you that you mentioned that you do not want to be a boutique, like in your initial stages, and you saw a lot of celebrities or people who come on the TV would ask you for your clothing, and you realize that okay, this is one of the points that it should be a brand, it shouldn't be a boutique. Do you want to also reflect a little learning from that time?
So when I started, because it was Khara Kapas, it was pure cotton, and I knew that I will always do cotton. And I realized cotton is very understated in India, and Indian people will probably, women especially, probably may not value it so much. And that's what everybody told me, that you can get cotton in Fab India, you can get cotton in Anoki, anywhere. Like there's so many cotton shops. Why would people buy cotton? I knew that I wanted to do my style. I wanted to make it fashionable. I wanted to make it trendy. It is
So you
comfortable.
were your own customer in a way,
Yeah,
right?
I was my own customer.
Okay.
And I decided I'm going to work with Etsy. Etsy used to be like this marketplace. It's still there, I think. And that I will only ship outside India. I was so nervous writing my first mail. I still remember my first customer. If she listens to this podcast, Madhushri Ghosh, she was one of my initial customers. She was in the US who bought the first dress from me, and it was through Etsy. And she's still a customer. We're still friends. We still talk. So we're very well connected now also. Um, and But I realized that Indian market gave me such a good response. I launched it on Etsy first. I was available on social media on Instagram, and people in India also wanted to buy. And then I realized that okay, I was wrong. Maybe this product is going to do well in India also. And with celebrities, PR sourcing requests coming, and celebrities wanting to buy, to source and buy pieces, I realized that we have to be available to anybody and everybody. And the only way of doing that was online. I could have not been running all across the country doing pop-ups. Pop-ups are good because they give you the initial visibility. They help you test your product, which is very important. You need to see how people are reacting to your product. Consumer feedback is extremely important. So you need to understand whether this is working, on what body type it's working, who's your kind of customer. It just makes it easy. You need to interact. So I went for all my pop-ups on my own, always. Would pack my stuff, go meet customers, write down contacts, talk to them, speak to them, but have everything available online as well. I never shied away from going online from the beginning. So it became very easy because we gained our customers, we had the database, people started liking the product. So for us to go to expand online was easier and happened very fast.
So you think pop-up is a great way to test product market fit,
Absolutely.
even in today's
Yeah,
time?
yeah, yeah. You should.
Okay.
Because stores is a luxury which comes later, especially if you don't have funding or if you don't have ancestral money that you can put, or your daddy is not giving you a lot of money, which is there's no harm. Of
Yeah,
course,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
good
Of
if you're
course,
lucky enough
huh,
to
you're
have that.
lucky,
But
right?
if you want to do it with your own savings and you don't want to make that investment, then I feel that it's very important to do pop-ups because they are. I still do one pop-up every year because I still have my loyalties towards certain people and certain cities. So I think what happens, you get a lot of feedback. You understand what product is moving, how pieces are looking. Uh, in general, you will come and you'll see, even listening, overhearing conversations. Okay, iski sleeve lambi hai. This style is probably the neckline is not going. You always don't have to be arrogant about, okay, this is my product. I'm only going to do this. I'm not going to make changes. That's not smart. I feel you have to listen to your customers. You have to have your design in place, your aesthetics in place. That is your core. That needs to be intact. But at the same time, you have to adapt. You have to know what's happening in the market. What is small changes, product improvisation, which is something I realize is very important. And everybody has to do it. Bigger brands do it. Your tech companies do it. Your consumer products do it. Everybody does consumer improvisation. Without that, it's very difficult to make a premium product. So those
And you
smart
still listen
skills,
to those feedbacks even till
absolutely,
now.
yeah, yeah, it's very important.
So we've spoken about your journey and it's pretty interesting. Now let's just take it ahead and understand how a new entrepreneur can position their brand in today's time, especially in a premium category, how they can crack design codes and how they should even price their products. Because a lot of designers uh, are sort of directional as they overprice and underprice, which doesn't really hit the market the right way. If Shilpi has to come up with a catalog today, what are the key design elements one should look into during the design process so that the product looks premium and it also gives a certain design aesthetic as per your storyline?
Okay, so AI feel that design is something which is very personal.
Mhm.
So to generalize that would be very difficult. But things that you can keep in mind, which I have learned on the job, is quality, fitting, finishing. Those are things that you should experiment with. Um, Also, it's very important to understand who's your customer. Now, for example, 90% of Khara Kapas products are for more than 90. I think 99% we only do women's wear. And women have all shapes and sizes. I am myself in my 40s. But there are people who go through hormonal changes. I've gone through hormonal changes. I've had two kids in the process,
Yeah,
delivered
yeah.
two, so gone big, small, everything. And I feel that, so for me, I know that if I'm working with women,
Yeah.
and I know that women come in all shapes and sizes, so I need to keep that in mind. You have to come up. So it's very important that design is comfortable.
Okay.
I really believe in that because I think at the end of the day, you could not feel very comfortable if it's not fitting you well, or if it's somehow the fabric is not feeling. So for me, fabric is luxury. That's why we only work with cotton. My fabric has to feel really good on my body, no matter how fashionable a silhouette is. But if it's not falling well and making me feel good, I can't wear it for more. So I think that is something very important, comfort. So I personally feel that it's very important to consider comfort when you're making a quality product, because that is extremely important for any customer. uh, so that is one. Finishing is one. And I think it's important that don't get carried away by trends. be sure about what product you're making, who's your target customer, and what is unique about your product, and just try improvising that. Design is all about improvisation, so you have to make sure that you have scope for that always. And it's not good to be very arrogant about these things, because I think it's nice to listen, adapt, change, and just make your product better.
Say I go to Khara Kapas store and even I visit the website, there's a sort of premiumness that it speaks, okay? The kind of photo shoots you have done, there's a tone of premiumness. So, how does one bring premiumness to their brand today? What can they do differently?
Less is more, as I say, that it's whenever you see a premium design space or a store, the lesser it looks better. So clutter just takes the premiumness away from the product. So I think that is something that I truly believe in. Keep it minimalistic, keep it less,
Yeah.
let the product shine, whether it's the website or it's your shoots or it's your physical space. Let the product breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere for that matter. If you clutter anything, then your main product doesn't shine. So I
Yeah.
think that is something that is very, very important.
Okay.
Um, your product has to be on point in
Yeah.
terms of what you're designing, and then how you position it and how you show it. If it's online, then the customer needs to see it very, very well. There needs to be a larger than life, character to your imagery or your product. And keep it minimalistic is what I feel, that it'll definitely make things more visible, and you'll be able to notice more when there
Yeah.
is less.
For example, you have to start with the first catalog. What should be the exact number? Will you be able to tell me like a certain percentage one should really look into? That really worked well for you. Because I see you have dresses, you have pants, you're also into menswear shirts. So, how do you come up with all that?
When I started off, it was only women's wear. We did like a small collection of about, I think, 18 to 21 styles. um, have your main silhouettes, your main product line, which is your unique silhouettes, your unique cuts and things that you're sure about, and then you could have colorways. You could have the shorter, longer version, so that you have that sort of a variety to offer to customer. Like a silhouette has come out beautiful, but then you think, okay, maybe let's try doing like a sleeveless version of this, or maybe the shorter version, a longer version, because this fit is amazing. But we could work with lengths, hemlines, because that will make it more versatile for like people of various heights and sizes. So those accents you can add, so that you have more variety covering all shapes, sizes, and silhouettes when you're launching your first collection. But first, have your first, whether it's 8 silhouettes, 10 silhouettes, 15 silhouettes, whatever that number is, have that clear. You can add accents of, if you want to just work with dresses because that's your calling, then do just dresses. But if you think that you want to do tops and pants, also, then start introducing. For example, when I started, I would not do tops, very few, one or two. But then I realized a lot of people who wanted to wear Khara Kapas, they would come and tell me that, but we want to pick up tops, because you want something that's just on the go. We're just in the mood of clubbing it with a pair of shorts or pants or just jeans. So I realized, okay, let's just start adding those accents. So we started doing that. Then we realized people are always looking for one statement piece trousers or pants. Sometimes you just need that one statement piece. So we started introducing that again to very my personal style, which is like I like certain kind of bottom wear, and I started introducing those silhouettes, and that's how the product category started increasing. Menswear also, it was very natural. Women would come to the store with their men, and sometimes men would come and tell us, why don't you have anything for men? And I was like, okay, I don't know that what kind of menswear would I like to do. But then I realized that it should be something that is something that I would see my guy wear, my dad wear, my friends wear, is something that I would probably classic pieces. Obviously, it has to be classic. It cannot be just trendy or fashionable, because that's not what Khara Kapas is. It's staple, it's classic, it's evergreen. So we need to come up with shirts like that. So we started doing basic short line for men, but there's a little element of uniqueness in terms of the prints, or maybe a certain collar, certain detailing that we would do, which would be different from run of the mill stuff.
When you said design is very like individual based, right? That your process is going to be yours. Do you want to reflect a little on your process, maybe which we can relate with?
So for me, it all starts with the uh, So as you see, Khara Kapas has a lot of art driven, everything is art driven. And that's because I have like the small studio space where I'm always painting. Um, so I use this medium of painting, which is watercolors, which is very fluid, transparent, and and it happens really quickly. And I've been doing watercolors all my life. And that's why if you see Khara Kapas, silhouettes are also like that. The kind of fabrics we choose, the kind of prints we do, it's basically a complete. So I paint first, so I make these series of paintings, lots of them. I would be making about maybe about 8 or 9 in a day when I start.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, dapping. It happens really quickly. So I make these series of water paintings, and then we have this whole collection. And while that is happening, the silhouettes start running in my mind because I imagine my prints on paper, and then I see, okay, how do we need to put it on garment? What are the kind of silhouettes that will work for it? What are the kind of colors that will go? And that's how we start working on silhouettes, shorter dresses. What are the kind of collar details that will work? What are the kind of ruffles, pleating, delicate finishing, like, pin tucks, or maybe a little bit of ruffles, maybe a little bit of tie-ups. Maybe this would require a bigger hemline, a shorter hemline. So it happens simultaneously. So when we're finally designing, then this is one pile of silhouettes, there is this one pile of watercolors, and there are this one pile of colors of solid fabrics. And then we try putting it all together. It's a mess. The room is a mess when we're doing it. And then we try combining things. Then we experiment with putting one fabric on. So we also now started working with heavier weight cotton. So we try experimenting certain silhouettes on heavier cotton, lighter cotton, what is going to be basis, the season, structure, what are the kind of neckline will go on, what fabric. And it's a lot of experimenting. There's a lot of wearing. I would wear a piece, I would make somebody else wear a piece in my office. And then visually we see, and we are constantly talking with the team, engaging that what is looking good, what neckline is working, what is feeling comfortable, all of that. That's how finally the silhouettes come in play.
And what is the usual duration of creating a catalog?
Oh, it's an ongoing process. So
Okay.
there is a sampling team that's constantly sampling. So it's not a period. This was an ongoing process all year long, 365 days. We are always experimenting with silhouettes, with cuts, with prints, always. So we always have like lots of sample prints, a lot of artwork, a lot of fabrics. And then closer to the season, when we realize, okay, it's time to now launch the collection, then we try putting things together. We might have like 15 to 20 silhouettes ready, and we feel, okay, we need fill-ins. That's when we start thinking, okay, what colors will go here, what colors will go in the next season, what detailings can we add, maybe something from the last season, some evergreen styles that have worked well for us from the beginning, also very receptive. So we keep listening to customers, we keep taking feedback from stores, online feedbacks, that what is it that is working for customers. Is certain fit a problem? I'm a different body type, my customer is a different body type. We need to come up with a cut that is something that I really believe in. I feel that I, being a female entrepreneur, female designer, I think for me it's very important that my women feel very comfortable in what they wear. They feel like it feels like second skin. It's comfortable. They feel good about their bodies. If I can do that and I can make clothes for women in all shapes and sizes and in all ages, I feel very happy. I really love it. I have seen the mothers, the daughters wearing the same stuff. Then we have kids who are wearing the mini versions of that. And that's what I want to do. I don't want to be someone who's designing or making clothes only for a certain body type. That for me doesn't work. For example, as I'm aging, even if I'm a certain body type, I may be thin, muscular, or whatever, but I still sometimes don't feel like wearing shorter dresses. I just feel comfortable. There's certain things that maybe it's your mood or it's your age or it's you just I feel very fashionable when I'm like wearing longer silhouettes or when I'm covered. Sometimes I want to flaunt my arms, sometimes I want to flaunt my back, but not always. So you need to, for me as a designer, I need to have that variety. So I think it's important that you, when you're starting a brand, you understand that. Who are you catering to? What is it that you want? Who's going to be your market, who's going to be your customer, and then design accordingly,
Yeah.
which changes with age.
Is there one thing that you can tell this new entrepreneur that how they can find a customer base also? Like a lot of times people start with the product, which is more instinctive, and then they just shoot it in the market. Now they really don't know who their customer is. How do they find it out?
You have to listen to who's wearing your product, who's showing interest. That's where
Mm-hmm.
your exhibitions, your pop-ups, or your physical interaction with customers will come in play. even if you launch a product, for example, Apple launches a product, I'm sure they also wait for feedbacks. They also do like product testing, so
Yeah,
that you have
yeah.
to test the product in the market. Just don't go all out. You have to come up. I've made beautiful, like, for example, these pants that I'm wearing. I love these pants. I wear it all the time. But
Hmm.
there are very few people who will wear these pants. So it's not that I will not make these pants because nobody's
Yeah.
wearing it, or few people are wearing it. Easier silhouettes always work because people don't have to think.
Right.
Pieces that are complementing your body will always work more because more people will buy it. But you still need to have those hero products that you really like
Yeah, yeah.
and that look really good on you, and maybe you want to wear them and you want to do it because you believe in it, and you will find some people who will like it and who will start wearing it. Maybe that product might start trending. So there are certain silhouettes for me that work only in the international market, and there are certain silhouettes that work only in the Indian market. So that's why I have a lot of variety. And I always make things that I personally really like and I want to wear, and I wear it all the time. And people say, "Oh, it looks good on you,"
Yeah.
but that's because that's 100% me. So anything that you do from core or your true instinct, it will always look good on you. So that variety, it's important. And test your product, experiment, talk to people, see it on various people, take feedbacks, and be receptive to taking feedback. Don't feel I really feel that when people are giving you feedbacks, or when you're getting somebody's asking to change something, or I don't think you should be arrogant, or you should be how do I say that, you don't want to not be receptive about it. I think that's a
I
mistake.
know, I think, like, I've heard it from a lot of entrepreneurs that they get exhausted with the feedbacks,
Yeah.
because I know it's so vast, like the customer base and the feedbacks. But yeah, still keeping those major feedbacks in mind may help, right?
Yeah, so you don't have to change. See, you will have criticism everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
People have various opinions. Listen to people wherever you think that this is. For example, I'll give you an example. Now, if I'm making a silhouette and I feel that this is the probably the neckline is too deep. It may be fine on me, but it is not wrapping around really well. So then I need to understand, all right, so I am a certain body types. This neckline is going fine on me. But 70% of the women need a certain neckline which will work better. So maybe I'll make that change. Maybe the cut of the sleeve, I'll change that. Maybe the kind of lining I'm using inside my pieces, or maybe the little bit of detailing that I'm doing that is making the product stand out. Maybe the strap width, it's a
More
very small thing.
functional
Yeah, more
aspects,
functional, more
right?
comfortable. It's not ripping your neck. It's not making you
Yeah,
uncomfortable. Those small things
sure.
will really help you. And of course, you can't change your everything based on the feedback that you're getting.
Again, I'll get back to the premium side. So I see, I actually went on Khara Kapas website the other day and I'm like, wow, I love the photo shoots. I love how it's done. It really reflects a certain mode, which is rustic, raw, a lot of rust color use and bottle green. So, I mean, I could gauge that, okay, this is very intentionally done. It reflects a mood, it reflects a story. How does someone crack such kind of editorial shoots? You'll have a whole fledged team to take care of that. But someone who starts afresh, I think they'll not be able to allocate those funds to such a thing. So maybe certain things that we can keep in mind while you're shooting for your product.
You'll be surprised, Monica. I'm so anal about my shoots that I have been there on every shoot. I
Okay.
delivered my child. I was shooting till I was 9 months pregnant.
Hmm.
Till I think right after delivery, my son was born, and I think 21 days I took him to the shoot. So I've never done a shoot when I'm not there. So I'm very
Okay.
involved, from location hunting to the models to the makeup to everything. I have my mood boards ready. I start talking to photographers with my mood boards. In fact, I've been advised that I should start bringing in more people to start taking care of these things and not be so involved. But I come from an art background. So I like being involved. I think that for me, it's very important. One is the design process, and then when the design is finally coming alive, when it's happening, then you have to be involved. But I don't agree that you always need very large budgets. In fact, I would say that
Because when
compared to
I'm sorry, I'm cutting you. Because when I genuinely looked at it, I thought, okay, there must be a team allocated for this who's into creating mood boards and then shooting with all these backgrounds. And even if you've used AI or not, I'm not sure about that. But certain backgrounds look like, oh, they're pretty much enhanced. I was wondering, ये background कैसे आ सकता है? Because it looked like done at some lake or something?
That's actually shot in a lake.
Okay, yeah.
Whatever you see, it's actually shot there. Every
So I was
location.
like,
I mean, if
oh,
my
because I was
photographers are
looking at
listening,
references for my own brand. That is not the mood anyway of my brand, but you get those benchmarks that someone in the industry is doing such a great shoot. Let me also just try and crack in my own set of stories.
no, it's a lot of. So I, I think I travel,
Mhm.
and whenever, so my mind, the way it works, it's a joke that there is not one location that Shilpi has not left. So whether it's my husband's factory, new factory, old factory, that office, this field, that field, my house, old house, new house, interim house, everywhere we've shot. So we basically, wherever I see an interesting place, spot which is inspiring me, I shoot it. And I go location hunting everywhere. We've shot in Goa, we've shot in Rajasthan, we've shot, I don't know where all we've shot. We've shot domestically, we've shot a lot. We have more places to explore. But I don't think you always need a lot of money. So basically, I feel that it's not really important to have like a very big budget to do shoots. I think it's very important that your product is standing out. That is one thing that you need to keep in mind. Second, if you want to create a mood, now that mood you can also create in your backyard, or you can create like in these free lands across Gurgaon, anywhere. Yeah, yeah, just go scouting anywhere and everywhere. So my mind is always working on what is a new location, where is it. For example, I was in Rani Khed during COVID. I was there for about 4 months. We love that space. My husband and I, we've been going there for like, I would say about 7, 8 years. We've been going there every summer. We go there. Winters we've gone there. So there I found such beautiful spots. So I did 2 campaigns there. It's an untouched hill station. So anywhere and everywhere I go and I find a location, and I feel okay, let's shoot. I think a little bit because I come from art direction, and for me to visualize frames is nice, but then you also need a good talent in terms of your photographer, videographer. You need to have the right people that you're working with. I was lucky enough to get the right people with the right aesthetics, who their aesthetics aligned with me. But no, I don't think you can even do a very crisp studio shoot without spending a lot of money, and you can have the same amount of budget even for an outdoor shoot. So I don't think that it's always huge budgets or huge production costs. Of course you can, there is no limit,
No, but
you
the new
know.
entrepreneur would definitely want
Yeah,
to
yeah,
learn and take some tips from you in case it's amazing that you mentioned that it doesn't take that much
yeah,
money. It is more about the vision and how you produce it.
yeah.
So,
There's not even actually a lot of post editing that happens in our
uh-huh.
shoots. We don't do a lot of post editing, so
Okay.
we shoot it in natural light.
It's not AI.
It's not AI. In fact, I'm scared of AI because I don't understand AI.
Yeah.
But let's see. But I don't know. Somehow I feel AI will take the whole human touch away, and
Yeah.
especially when you, like, I paint and I'm an artist and I love those viewfinders, and that's what we've done. So I feel that when I see this beautiful visual, and then you imagine you will convert it into, like, I don't know, a preset frame where you'll just keep. Maybe it's the future of fashion, but right now I've not made peace with
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't understand it. But you just have to be very good with selecting the person that you want to work with. I mean, there are
Okay.
some shots that I've done on my own also. There's a kids
Okay.
wear campaign on our website that I did it on my own.
Wow, okay.
There's an indoor kids
Yeah,
wear
I have
campaign.
to.
My son and a friend's daughter, we
Acha.
shot it on our own. But of course,
Yeah.
I generally am picky about the people. Like, we try getting we work with the right talent,
Mm-hmm.
people who are genuinely creative, good. And we try shooting in natural light. We try not working with a lot of fancy equipments and all of
Right.
that. But it depends what you have. So if you're starting, you can start on small budgets. It's not a problem. I think you can still get amazing results with small
Okay.
budgets. You should have your mood board right, that this is what you want. These are the lights that you want. This is the entire mood board should be ready, and then you get your photographer the right way. There's so much talent right now. There's so many budding photographers,
Yeah, yeah.
so you can collaborate
True
with
that,
people.
true. Another thing, I noticed that there are different pictures on the website of the same product as you see on other platforms, say Instagram. Am I right? Like, do people use different pictures?
No,
No?
it's just, I think, the setting that might look different,
Okay.
but otherwise pictures are same usually.
Like the campaign pictures are different than the website pictures? Do you,
Yeah,
or
so we do that. So earlier, what this is something that I've
is
recently
there a
started doing.
rule
No.
here? Because I remember I had done a shoot and a lot of people suggested that you need to keep simpler pictures on the website and more editorial pictures on Instagram. So is there a rule or
I don't know if there's a rule. I
Uh-huh.
don't follow it. I just feel that, of course, your products sometimes stand out better when
Yeah.
you're doing it in a white background because your
Yeah.
colors pop better. You can see the details and all of that. But I think editorials also help as long as they are not super styled
Okay.
and they are not overly layered where the garment is not showing. But it's nice to have editorial because it creates a mood,
Uh-huh.
it sets a story, it helps to take your brand to next level. But there are lots of brands that have done well with just doing catalogs, and there are some brands that have done well only doing editorials.
Okay.
So it depends. Something might work for you, something might not, but there is no rule as such. It's what you want to show. Do you want to show your product in an editorial form? Then do an editorial shoot. If you want to do your product in a catalog form where the product is
Mm-hmm.
really very well lit and looking nice. So there are some collections that we do in a catalog form only, which are
Yeah.
basically in between drops, staples, or we're doing plugins.
Mm-hmm.
And then we do certain campaigns
Yeah.
because I, as a brand, also cannot afford doing only campaigns and can't afford doing such expensive shoots all the time.
Okay. So, like, if you have to explain me, like, I'm a photographer and you want to tell me that how your next shoot is going to be like. So, are there any download that you'll give it to me, like, say, about colors or like some references that you can give me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, what would those be like so that this entrepreneur, say, he or she starts the shoot on their own without hiring an agency? What should they really look into? What should they keep in mind when they're downloading to the photographer?
I think first you need to study the photographer's work.
Okay.
You go to his page. If you're
Yeah.
if you're shortlisting a photographer based on the kind of work they've done in the past, you see the work. You should
Yeah.
be able to resonate with that kind of work, and you feel, okay, this is
Ach.
good work, good lighting. This chap is doing an amazing work, and this person should be able to work for me. That is one. Then you should know your product. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is my product, and this is how I want to present the product. Whether you
Yeah.
want an evening light, morning light, you want
Okay.
underexposed, you want like more colors, you want barren landscape, you want what do you want?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
want a riverside, what do you want? What do you have in mind when you want to show your product? So have some visual references. Study those visual references. Have your product catalog that these are my garments, this is the visual reference, see the photographer's work, and then put it all together.
Okay.
Send a pitch to the photographer, tell them that this is what I want, this is the mood I'm trying to create, and then listen to the photographer, what he's saying, then understand whether he'll be able to deliver. Photographers will have their own points, which is fair enough because they'll
Yeah.
plug
Yeah.
in, they'll tell you because they understand the technicalities. Understand, work as a team.
Okay. How much do you think the consumer pays for the story and not the dress? Because in today's time, everyone focuses on building a brand story.
So, honestly, this is my personal opinion. I feel consumers are not silly.
Okay.
They understand everything really well. So you
Mhm.
cannot just do a story
Yeah.
and not have the product,
Mhm.
or just do the product and not have a story. So, my understanding, what I feel is that you need to have the product first. Most important, nobody in this world will buy something that they feel is not worth the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is not going to happen. So, your product has to be right. Uh, but the person needs to reach the product, to
Mhm.
wear the product, to realize wow, what a piece this is. For that, you need to have your story.
Okay.
That how do you tell people that what goes into making this
Yeah. Yeah.
product? Like
Yeah.
I've struggled with this a lot because people say, oh, but this is cotton. There are some people who will come and say this is cotton. Once they wear the product, then and they'll wear it over a period of time, and then they say, oh, Shilpi, this feels like second skin. Like I don't want to get out of this place. I want to wear this only because comfort will eventually
Take
win over
over.
a lot of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
And I personally truly believe in it. I'm sure some people might argue with me or probably have a different opinion, but for me, it's very important. I have
Yeah.
spent money on things. You buy an expensive pair of shoes for that matter. If it's not comfortable, how much will you wear it? After 1 hour, you will remove it. Jewelry, no matter how beautiful the jewelry, maybe when you're in your 20s and you're like, on different hormones, you don't care. But after a
Yeah,
certain,
yeah, yeah.
you
And
you
once you
have to.
start getting used to the comfort, you can never switch
Yeah,
back.
and
Yeah.
I feel this is my opinion. At least it's happened with me, and a lot of people have seen this in my workout videos also. And when I
Yeah.
work out, I don't go for brands; I go for comfort. So of course, like your sports bra has to be quality. It doesn't matter, but it has to be quality. But your shorts could be anything,
Yeah,
and I will
yeah.
just wear that and I will work out because my t-shirts are always torn or worn out, but they are very comfortable, and I refuse to give them away. So I feel that with me this has happened. People who've worn my clothes, they're like, we refuse to part away from this dress, or they will buy the same dress.
I've actually seen your workout video like yesterday when I was watching, and I noticed the shorts, and I was like, she's very comfortable and confident in it, and hence she's wearing. Because I know people would first of all dress up to work out and then they will work out.
So
So
that is
it looked very
something,
natural, and I
yeah.
thought, yeah, like why not wear these
And good
cotton
for them,
shirts?
if you're feeling good wearing some certain branded
Yeah,
stuff,
that's also,
good,
yeah,
good, that's nice. This is me. My
yeah, yeah, yeah.
personality is, for me, comfort is very important, and that's my niche, and that's what my product should be about, because that's me. I'm not chasing trends. This is what I like doing. This is what I'm
I'm
doing.
just imagining Khara Kapas
I would totally do
workout
that.
clothing.
Boxers. मैं तो boxer. I'm like, I'll do cotton. I tell people, wear
Workout.
cotton boxers and work out. It's so much better.
I'm gonna
It's just
try.
so, try it. It's
Yeah,
very
yeah,
comfortable. And wear your husband's boxers. They're
yeah.
oversized and very comfortable. So I think comfort is very important.
Yeah.
Storytelling comes in place because obviously a person needs to understand. Now, for example, we have a certain cycle that we follow to make a product. We have a pre-wash cycle, we have a wash cycle, we stitching cycle, then there's a QC, then after that there is again a washing cycle. So we follow multiple cycles. That's how we sure about why a product, when it goes out of the factory, why is it a certain quality. There's a long process of 4 or 5 days in making that product. It's not that the tailor just stitches it and then unpacking, and it's not like that. There's a pre-process, stitching, QC, final finishing, washing, drying, everything we do. So there is a cost that is involved in that. Plus the quality of cotton we're doing, the printing that we do, the originality of the prints, it's like original artwork, or
Yeah, yeah.
one of the examples, or if we do handwork. So there's a process that goes into it. And then you also don't want to make a product that is available to the world. So that's where the premium comes. So that's why women of a certain age and style and design and aesthetics like wearing Khara Kapas, because what I've realized that most of the people, they know their style by the time they come, and they are very particular that they want comfort. They don't want to do trendy stuffs because they feel that and it's good. You can do comfort and trendy stuff together also. That is also an option, and you can do it. But I'm saying always it might not happen. So when people come to buy, they know what they want, but then sometimes it's important to educate them, or to tell them, not even educate them, just create awareness about your product, to tell the story about what goes into making the product,
Okay.
because they want to know the product. They want to know who's designing my clothes, what is the process, how is it being. Then they feel nicer about paying the price that they're paying for the product, and they understand the product better. So I feel that's where storytelling is important. But you cannot work in isolation. It cannot be like storytelling and product cannot
Mhm.
be
Because
different.
I've seen one of your videos where you're painting your original print. So there's definitely a reflection of design and also an understanding that what goes behind making a garment. So
So it
yeah,
has a
it's more
personal touch.
relatable.
Every
Yeah,
product will have a personal touch,
personal touch.
and
Mm.
those are unique prints. And I don't want to do mass production.
What's your personal touch in your brand, which also adds
Everything,
premiumness?
everything. It's whether it's the cuts, it's the color. For example, the color of the whites that we use. It's very me. If you come to my house, anybody who walks into a Khara Kapas store, comes to my house or sees the product, will be able to say, okay, we
Yeah,
understand.
yeah, yeah.
My house is like, I'm just doing up my house right now. And it's just, I only understand. It's called my previous house was called the White House, and my
Okay.
office is called the White Office, and my house is called White, because that's my basic aesthetic.
Core
It's
aesthetic.
Cora. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
Cora. I
Acha,
love
okay.
off-white. My canvas for painting is off-white, and then my prints come on it. So that is something that, it's my favorite color. It's just, I just think that everything just looks beautiful on white.
So what I see is your brand is also a huge reflection of who you are as a person, right? And maybe a person who starts afresh should also look into themselves and identify their core strengths and their core beliefs in understanding brand story, design, and everything else, right?
Then you can run the long race. Otherwise, you might just forget why you're
Why
doing
are you
this or
doing it?
what you're doing. So I think that will keep you at it.
Another interesting thing is, say you design a print. With prints, what I assume is that there's a life cycle of a print. I could be wrong, but this is just my assumption. So when you create print, you have a certain inventory in place, especially with multiple stores you have. How do you make sure that it works out? Because otherwise, you'll end up sitting on a dead inventory. Because returns are one of the major problems in apparel industry today, especially like a lot of people even in the other podcasts where they build commodity businesses, they really focus on the percentage of returns, so they try to work out a lot of other things so that they can minimize it. Does it also happen in a premium brand?
Yes, it does. I
Yeah.
mean, we have to be very mindful of what you're doing. That's when the ops and the data-driven
Okay.
process comes in play. I'm very passionate about making prints. So I make prints. I've been given feedback, make less prints. So I love painting and I love doing it. But then we experiment with prints. It's not that we'll go all out. That's when the online, and surprisingly for us at least, online and offline is very different. Things that might work online might not work offline. So the inventory that or the styles that will work in my stores might not work online. So we can't just rely on that. So we work with small batches. You of course have to have certain fabric in place, but we are a made-to-order brand. It's not that we stock up everything. We will always be stick to that made-to-order brand. We will obviously want to reduce this by working on ops in a more productive manner, but you have to have circulation of stocks. What you're sending to one store, then it goes to the other store, then you have to have like a master inventory where you make sure that you have that inventory, whether it's store inventory or you have online inventory, and then you can circulate that stock. Whether you're working with third parties, you're working with MBOs, or you're doing your online sales, or you're doing offline sales, there needs to be a good circulation through that master data. So the data management will be very, very important over here.
What is MBO?
Multi-brand stores.
Okay.
So if you're working with like marketplaces like an Ogan or then you have to have your Azar. So you need to have those things in place, and that's how you will be able to manage. So then you'll have limited dead stock.
I would love to get more into the retail part and inventory management in that aspect. But before that, I want to also touch on one point. Like Instagram is a very important and crucial platform today for marketing. You have 150K followers today. What really worked for you?
This is the $1 million question. I still, yesterday only I was talking to my team and I was like, oh, I would want these many followers. How? So I really don't know how, but initially, of course, it was simpler.
Something frugal that worked, something that really
Um,
worked, which
I
we
think at
could
least
use maybe.
I feel that you have to be. I think the growth in the beginning was really fast. I think because the algorithm was very different at that. There was no
Yeah, yeah,
algorithm
yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Things were just very organic, and I was just posting what I felt like. I was a photographer. I was doing the content. Everything I was doing on my own. I think what I try doing is I try also putting a lot of realistic content in terms of behind the scene videos where I can tell people how things are made, the cutting process, the stitching process. I try including the process. I also try shooting real content,
Yeah.
sharing customer images, showing real people wearing the clothes. Um, and of course, then you have the larger than life, your editorial campaigns and all, which you try keeping minimalistic. But ideally, I feel that that is something, that variety of stuff, variety of shooting on real people, and doing collaborations with people, working with the right kind of collaborators who align with your aesthetics, because at the end of the day, their viewship is your viewship. So you have to make sure that you have similar aesthetics.
Did you reach out to those collaborators yourself?
Sometimes people reach out to us, sometimes
Okay.
we reach to people. If they are like our kind of people, then we reach out to them. Sometimes they reach out to us and they get in touch with us. Then celebrities, sometimes the PR, when you have any influential person wearing your clothes, we share that. But I think very realistic content,
Yeah.
where you're talking about. I would like to talk more about the struggles. There are a lot of more ideas that I have to put on social media. It is also a learning curve for me. I want to do a lot more of that. But I think more or less in a nutshell, it's just the variety of content. Like the other day we were talking that why would you go to a page or any business handle and like to see more or like more or engage more when
Yeah.
you see something that you can relate to. Otherwise, you see something and you may like it, but you will not press the like button. Or either it has an aspirational value, or it's very relatable, or it's something that's just like, I think when it's just larger than life, sometimes you just see and you just let it go. But if it's aspirational, you want to be like that, then you want to engage, or something that is very
Relatable.
relatable. Like if
Yeah.
you experience something and you feel, okay, I know I can relate to that, then you want to comment. So I think that kind of content in today's world works better, in my understanding.
Yeah, because I've also gone through studies and I've realized that the number of people who used to like posts way down. And now, anyway, the algorithm works on shares and saves.
I have given up on Instagram algorithm. I don't think I can crack it now.
Mhm.
So I'm just trying to figure out that it makes sense to me to be like more transparent, to talk to work with like real content and
Yeah.
talk a little bit about the founder series, talk a little bit about how things happen. Other than that, I don't know. Like this, I can't be sitting on understanding the algorithm. Maybe I need to
Yeah.
hire an expert to do it. I don't
So,
know.
like, as an established brand today, what's your top marketing platform today? Like,
I think we do a little bit of digital marketing. It's not a lot
yeah.
as compared to what mostly brands do. That's what I've been told. But a lot of it is organic.
Hmm.
And I feel that social media is like your Instagram, your, of course, digital marketing that you do, which is your paid marketing, which is generally not, it's a very small amount,
You mean ads?
ads.
Okay.
And other than that,
Any
no. I
other
think what
platforms
works
that
is
you
like,
use?
no.
Pop-ups you said that you do
Very
in a
less. We
year.
don't do. Now I've with the stores opening, I've stopped doing pop-ups because we're also expanding, I think, internationally, and I
Yeah.
don't have the bandwidth to do a lot of pop-ups. And I feel it makes more sense to have stores.
Yeah.
Before the stores came, pop-ups was like something that I used to do a lot, and I would really look forward to it because it helps to introduce you to a new market, understand to do pop-ups in new cities, but at least very few. If there is like an easy model where we can send our stock, somebody else is organizing, it makes sense. I don't have the bandwidth to actually
Go now.
go for pop-ups now. So stores, I am investing more in stores right now.
But do Instagram followers really translate to actual paying customers?
Yeah, they do.
They do.
They do.
Will you be able to tell me a percentage? Is
I
it?
actually would not have that percentage on the top of my fingers, but I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
because
yeah.
we interact a lot with people. In fact, people are very vocal and very interactive on social media. So even if there is a customer complaint or there's anything, people reach out. Plus, I have an open account. People also reach
You
out to
reach out
me.
to you.
So it's like, you have, and I'm very, very interactive on my personal account.
Okay. So you think in
So
today's time an entrepreneur should also be very active on their own personal
I feel,
account?
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to be active on your personal account. That's something. I mean, if you're someone who's private who doesn't want to be. So
Yeah.
my personal page is just about me. It's me expressing myself. But because I am out there and people who follow me, they do follow me on my personal page. So when there is an issue, there's something when they're unable to reach out, they do reach out to me, and I think it's good that I can connect with my people.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in a situation where if I have the ability to get back to a customer, why would I not? At the end of the day, I want to have my ears and eyes open all the time.
Can we reflect a little on the return part?
Yeah, so returns, yeah. So as I mentioned, we are basically a made to order brand. So that is one way. So we make sure that as and when we get an order, we ship it. But we've also realized that there are certain styles. This is in the process of building Khara Kapas, I figured out that we cannot just have made to order pieces because there are certain styles that are working very well. So we have like some inventory that we always have in stock, the inventory that works for our stores, inventory, over a period, data. Again, what I'm saying, data is very important if you're running a brand because you need to understand what styles, what sizes, what quantity, which area, which domain. You have so much that you can um, map online. Online data is there because you're selling certain styles. Stores, you know what styles are working for you. So you need to have like those pieces ready at all times so that you can quickly replenish orders or you can send it across. So that is something that we always keep in mind, that we have good, fast bestsellers in stock that can work in all stores. Then circulation of stock. So when you get a return, we rarely get returns. It's very, very less because mostly it's the made to order thing. You will get return only when you've given a damaged product, or which is rarely, which doesn't happen, or there's something gone wrong with the fitting. Then you can do a size exchange. Size exchange is common, and sometimes people order a size and they're not happy with the fit, so they take another size. So then that size goes to store. But you still end up doing a little bit of dead stock. Then we have these annual sales. So during that, we have that data, so it's easy for us to like just get those pieces out during the sale season, circulate it between stores. So that's how we manage our. Uh, but our percentage of returns is very, very less.
And why is that? Like, do you think it's the fit
Made
or
to order.
made to order?
So we're made to order, so people know what size, and plus we are somebody who customize. So if a person is not sure about the fit and style and cut they want, they give us the measurements. We suggest the size for them. We tell them that we can do a size up, size down, and we also customize
And what is
fits.
the timing that you keep for the order delivery in that case?
That is usually longer. It's 15 to 20 days.
Okay. And people wait for that
People
because
wait. They've been very
they know.
patient and nice and kind to
Okay.
wait.
So, like a new entrepreneur can keep this in mind that if you're customizing something and if there's an audience for that,
Yeah.
they are going to
I mean, you
patiently wait,
obviously see
right?
lose out on sales if you
Uh-huh.
have a larger timeline, but you always cannot have surplus stock, because
Right.
that's also, it doesn't work in favor of doing a sustainable brand or
Yeah.
trying to do like something that is organic, sustainable, environment friendly. Why would you want to create that stock? It doesn't work in anybody's favor. So I'm sure people who are shopping from you or who value you as a brand, who understand the process that goes into making that product, are okay waiting for some time.
So, any tips on made to order? Like, if someone has to do this,
You
uh,
can simply have it in your policies that you don't want to be, if you need to have an in-house production system. So
yeah,
we've
yeah.
always been completely in-house, 100%. We don't outsource anything. We do everything in-house. So we have tight control over production. And so I think that is very important. Where you have your, you when you get an order, you make a piece, you make sure that your fabric is in stock. All those things are in stock so that you can immediately make the product and send it across, and the production timeline can be squeezed in.
Yeah.
But it's good to have a made to order, especially when you're starting off. It doesn't make sense to have large inventories. If a style doesn't work, if you've experimented with the product and the product is not working, then what
Yeah,
are you
yeah.
going to do?
So, like as you said, that your fabric has to be in stock. So, any tips on also holding what kind of fabric? Like, maybe how much to hold?
You have to have all the fabric that you have your collection in. Yeah, you need that. You need minimum inventory to make sure that when an order comes, you need to make that piece and you need to ship it to the customer.
So, say there are 10 colors in the collection and
You need to have 10 colors.
all 10
Yeah.
colors. And there's no hack that one can minimize the investment here.
By not keeping fabric stock, but that will increase your lead time. And I would suggest that if you want to do that, there is no harm in it.
Yeah.
You can increase the lead time. You can just come up with a small collection with just one size,
Mm-hmm.
and then see which size is working, and then you can stock fabric and colors accordingly. But you will have to study and experiment what is working for you and what is not, especially when you're starting off, because otherwise it's a problem. So you have to choose.
Okay.
A smart move would be to not stock inventory when you're starting off, because I know
And then make
everybody
your
wants
operations stronger,
yeah, and
right?
everybody might want immediate gratification, but if they want a premium product or they want something nice,
Yeah.
and people are ready to wait. They are okay with, especially if you're customizing for them, they are happy to wait.
Also, like, what are the different types of fabrics, say, Khara Kapas would have?
I'll have all varieties of cotton.
All
Varieties of
varieties.
cottons. Cottons with structure, which is very small. I mean, we usually work with
Uh-huh.
mull. That's a main fabric, but we also do linens. We also do khadi, all natural fabrics. We also do some silks, and we do heavier weight cotton like poplin, oxfords, twills,
Yeah, yeah,
so
okay.
bottom weight, jacket weight. So we do all kinds of cotton.
But when you started or someone starts, should have a limitation in the type of fabric?
Yeah, start small.
Yeah, or
If you,
can
for
they?
example, if you're a khadi brand
Yeah.
and you want to work only with khadi, then you only do khadi.
Mm-hmm.
And then gradually, as you're getting a good response, it's increasing.
Yeah.
You want to add some variety, then add one fabric, add some variety, do small batches. You work with artisans, they will give you small batches. Um, so that is possible. If you do small batches, your cost goes up,
Yeah.
but at least your overall dead inventory is not happening. So small batches is a brilliant idea to start.
Let's discuss on the retail strategy. When is the right time to open a store? How a new entrepreneur should gauge that? Like,
This is again something that depends on how what kind of money you have. If you're somebody who comes with funding, you can start immediately. If you're someone,
like you were bootstrapped,
I
as
was
you mentioned,
bootstrapped. Yeah,
right?
I was bootstrapped, and it was all my savings. And we basically whatever money that came from our sales were put back into the business.
Okay.
So for us, we took time to start, and we were doing pretty well online. So we didn't have. Also, I think sometimes what happens, people like to start offline initially, is when, especially now, everybody's online. But at that point of time, very few people were online. But we were always online. So for us, the costs were minimum, and we were doing well online, so we didn't feel the need of going offline. But when we reached a certain, and we were doing a lot of pop-ups, we were traveling across the country to understand where the product is working, which cities are going to work for us. We putting our money in that. Once we got an idea that all right, so this is what is working, we realize now it's important for people to have a physical experience, because people know the brand, they understand what the brand is. We've experimented the product with the product, we realized that okay, now it's okay to go offline, to at least have one brick and mortar store to for people to have an experience, because it was a premium product. They wanted to touch and feel the
And how
product.
many years did it take you to realize this?
I had realized that I want to have a store in 3 or 4 years, but I wanted to make sure that I have enough calculation and funds to feel that all right, if 1 year I don't do any sale, I only have to pay for my store staff and my rentals, I should be fine, because you have a lock-in period. I wanted to, and then you have 6 months security that you have to give to. So running retail is expensive. So I needed to make sure that I have that kind of funds, that even if I don't make money, my first year, I should be okay with it. I should be in my head, I should be ready that okay, this much money I'm investing in my store. I should sign on that okay, this is just an investment and I should not wait for immediate returns. So once I had that clarity, I started with my first store, which was in 2019, I think. Yeah. 2015, I started the brand. 2019, I did the first.
So, any tips for the young entrepreneur who wants to have their own store someday? Like, what is the right time they should start?
Once you know that your product is established, it's made its mark, there is a demand, people are asking for it, start with retailing with other stores. You can work with MBOs, you can work with there are so many nice MBOs now with premium MBOs. You can show your product there. Even if you don't want to, it's okay, but you can do pop-ups, and you, when you see there is a demand, huge demand for your product, and you're unable to, like, and you need to have like a physical presence in that city, you know that this is the right time. But you have to keep in mind that most of the retail models, the way they work, there is an investment in terms of store making. Now I have not spent money on my stores. My first 3 stores, I did not put in much money. It was very simple because my aesthetics is very simple. I knew exactly what I wanted, what is the kind of money that I want to put into make. You can make a store. I mean, you walked into the Khan Market store,
Yeah,
you've seen
yeah.
what a store is like. It's, you don't always have to put money in making a beautiful store. Your aesthetics have to be aligned. And once you're ready, you figure out, because you will have to make the store, you will have to put in 6 months of security, which is quite a bit of money,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that money stays there. You can't touch that capital. So you should be ready to put in that capital. And then your store staff, your bills, your running cost, make that total. You should have your Excel sheet where you know that this is the cost that's going to go into running my store for 1 year. And then if you feel that you have that kind of finances, you're ready to do the store. That is very important.
What is a good location according to you? Like, how does one know that this is the right location?
Depending on where your customer is, it depends on which city your customer. For example, for us, we knew that because we're a cotton only brand, we knew that we do very well in. I mean, Delhi has obviously been a good market. Bombay is our biggest market, but we still took time to open a store in Bombay because it was further from home.
How many stores do you have currently?
3.
Three, okay.
Yeah. So it was further,
One
and we
in
realized
Khan.
one in Khan, one in Gurgaon, and the one that we're opening in Bombay. There's one more we had in Gurgaon, 2 stores, but one we shut.
Okay.
Then I had a store in Medchand which I shut during COVID. So I've done the whole,
Yeah, yeah.
struggle and figured out ki kaise, how is it going to work and
Which
what
one
is it
works
going
the
to.
best for you?
Khan does very well.
Okay.
Yeah, Khan is. I mean, it is one of
Any
the
key
most.
reason why?
Khan is the most expensive retail space
Yeah,
and
yeah.
gets a lot of footfall, and it has a variety of customer. And I
Okay.
think also the combination of tourist, your domestic customer, your travelers who always go to Khan,
Yeah.
the fact that you have retail and F&B together, so people go to shop, people go to eat. So there's like one place centrally located,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
now over a period of time, it has a image like it's a, like I remember when I was in college, I went to College of Art, Delhi.
Yeah.
We used to go to Khan Market and I used to see these fancy stores and I used to wonder that, wow, I never imagined that one day I'll have a
Yeah.
space there. But know your cities. Like, I knew that Bombay is my biggest city online, but Bombay was further away from home. So for me to open a space there would be difficult. So I experimented with closer places. So I did Gurgaon, which is closest to home, Delhi, and then Gurgaon again. And now I'm ready to do Bombay.
When is the Bombay store opening?
Any day now.
Any day now. Amazing.
I think by the time this episode goes
Live,
live,
yeah.
it will be open.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So the rental pressure also, I mean, how do you manage that? Like, especially with having 3 different stores.
You have to do your maths.
Yeah.
Same thing. You have to understand. See, there is, of course, risk involved in going retail. You can never be 100% sure. You can never be 100% safe. That's not going to happen. There is risk involved, and you should be ready to take that risk. It took me 4 to 5 years in my entrepreneurship journey to realize that, okay, I'm ready to take this risk. When I was confident about my product, when I knew that, okay, this product will work in this market, let's do it. So you have to be sure about that. It depends on the person you are. I was never in a rush to open stores because I didn't want to take that kind of risk.
Got it.
But when the product was established, I knew I had the funds, I had the, I had enough savings, enough money to put into my store. So I took a very safe risk, I would say. Yeah.
So, as you said that in your store, you did not invest a lot of money in terms of aesthetics. What really worked for you? I mean, was it any DIY thing or something else that a new
I knew
entrepreneur?
exactly. I think
Yeah.
that for me, Khara Kapas, our brand identity and aesthetics are very clear from the beginning. I mean, we
Mm-hmm.
know exactly, it reflects everywhere in our shoots and everything. So I never had confusion about how I wanted to do up the store.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
me, spaces come very easily. When I enter into a space, I immediately know that, okay, how do I, and for most of the designers, I think everybody who's
Yeah.
doing spaces, it comes very naturally. If you come from design background and you have your aesthetics aligned, you know how you want your store, whether you want black flooring, you want white flooring, what walls you want, how you do your spaces, whether it's your office, your home. We all have a personal touch everywhere. So I wanted to make sure that I have my personal touch. So for me also, I did not get a lot of time to do my Khan Market store. You will be surprised that the store was actually, from the day I got possession to the day I opened, there were 12 days.
Ah,
I got the
okay.
store ready in 12 days, down 12 days. So I knew that I cannot like break down the store and do all of those things. No. I had those 12 days, not even to actually, it was a different sort of an arrangement. So we did not get a rent free period. We just had to start. So the sooner, the better. So I had my drawings. The minute I saw the shop, I knew I had my drawings. I knew what I wanted to do, the kind of lighting. And it's a small space. It's a 300 square foot space, 270 or something.
Okay.
So I knew what I had to do. So I had clarity there. And then that's it. So I don't think that you always need to go all out to make an impression. I think it bare minimum basic looks beautiful because your product is going to stand out more. It just the space has to be aligned well, where you can display more and you can make your product stand out. It can look nice. That's all that matters. If it's done nicely, simple, aesthetically aligned, it can look beautiful. So you always don't have to spend a lot of money in starting your first
Any
store.
other strategy that you follow for your stores in terms of collection display?
It's always an experiment. We keep doing capsule collections. That is something that I've realized, that people, especially in a place like Khan Market, people are always looking for new things. They want to. We have a lot of repeat customers, a lot of loyalists who want to come back to the store. So they need variety. So we try doing a lot of colorways. We try doing smaller drops. We try experimenting with new silhouettes, new styles in our stores. We try coming up with colorways of a design that's doing well. Maybe different prints in a cut that is working well. So figure out your key figures or key silhouettes, that these silhouettes are working, these colors are working, these prints are working. Have that, and then experiment. And we always give customers the option of picking their silhouettes and prints so
Yeah.
that they can get customized. And that works for us because customers are happy. They love customizing. They have that freedom to customize things, and
I
that'll
think, sorry.
that'll happen when you don't have like a bulk inventory system that you have to make this much inventory. But if you're open to the idea of doing small batches
Yeah, yeah.
and also doing maybe just capsule drops, like this drop is only for my Khan Market store. So a person who's buying that silhouette knows that nobody else will have that silhouette. That sort of exclusivity, that sort of premium feeling that, okay, this is just for me. For that matter, even some customers who come to us and who say that I want to do this dress for this occasion, I want it in this fabric, we'll do it for that customer. So there's an exclusivity to that dress and that purchase.
What is the percentage of your customized order?
It's quite high actually. In stores, it's quite high. At least about 30%.
Okay.
We do customize. Yeah. Yeah. Things that are not possible, we'll tell customers. But whatever is possible, we do it.
And do you think it's very hard to manage made to order, especially like with 30%? Like,
Yeah, of course, it's tough, and
yeah.
that's why we try telling customers that the reason why I do it is because I want women or my customers to feel special. I want them to feel good in the styles they're taking. And there's no reason why, if I am a made to order brand and I have everything in house, I have the resources to do it, why would I not do it for my customer? Why should customization only be restricted to luxury? Like if you're doing a wedding lehenga, or if you're doing like a occasion where you want to wear this, why? People come to us who pick up pieces for their pre-wedding functions, for their birthdays, their anniversaries. There's a customer who came to me and she said that I'm going back to work after childbirth, and I only want to have Khara Kapas wardrobe for 1 month. We
Wow.
did
Okay.
full customization for her, whatever she wanted for her height, waist, whatever, because it's a special time for her. And I feel that I take a lot of pride if I can do these things for women, especially because I have gone through the process myself. I know what it is like to go back to work or be working during childbirth, pregnancy, all of those things. So it's nice. We like doing that.
How can one manage inventory? Do you have some tips on managing inventory, especially when you have three stores?
You have to have a ERP system. You have to have like certain. You definitely have to have master inventory. Everything has to be in, and if you don't even have ERP or anything like that, you need to have at least an Excel file or something where everything is documented. Everything that's made has to be there, so that you know what is going out, what is coming in. That data has to be precise always. I think whenever you're starting a business, data will be your best friend. Everything needs to be crunched in to know what styles are moving, what styles are not moving. You might assume, like sometimes I'll get this answer from my store team, and these styles are moving. And then I tell them, give me data. Tell me how many pieces, how many styles, how many sizes. And then they realize that what they're talking from the memory is not making sense on
Yeah,
paper.
paper.
So I
Yeah.
think that plays a very important role. So always have, from the first piece you've made, it needs to be logged in, implemented, put in a system. If you have an ERP, very good. If you don't, then you need to have an Excel sheet, a Google sheet for that matter, so that everything is documented.
Since we're talking numbers and a lot of data, I'm sure you also come from a place when you had not started doing data, or any sort of really big mistake that you made in your career that you would want to reflect on.
Yeah, of course. So surprisingly, um, we started working with a lot of MBOs, and I mean the brand really took off in the beginning only, and I signed up with a lot of people approached, and the premium ones, and we signed up with them. I will not name those MBOs right now, but there were one or two where, because our process was not right, because we didn't have a right invoicing system, because there was just too much demand, and I was just trying to do things on my own without understanding the seriousness of how important it is to have the right invoicing, the right systems, that we did forget about collecting payments. The invoicing did not happen in time, because you know how it works is like, you have payments pending for a while, and then there are discussions happening, and then your accounts team will change, and then your ops team will change, and then you can't be everywhere available all the time. And especially if you're not somebody who's driven by numbers, you're somebody who's trying to be an entrepreneur, being a designer and a single person doing everything. So it happens, and I had to, like, my payments were like gone. Basically I retrieved my payments after, certain payments I had to let go, but we basically retrieved things after a year, 2 years. But because it was in our ledger, we were able to get those payments, and we had to let go of certain payments. But we learned it the hard way. We had to forget certain things, certain invoices, certain bills had to be signed off, because there was absolutely no documentation from that side to this side that was matching. Now it's taken us years to be in a place that we know it's like foolproof. Yeah, we know we can even get things out after, from 5 years back. So I think that is something that I would advise to youngsters, especially if you do not come from an a numbers background, or you're not ops driven, or you're not somebody in a business. That is very important. You cannot just make beautiful clothes and sell it. If you're making it into, the difference between just doing a design house than doing a full-fledged business, your numbers have to be right, your team has to be right, that is backing you in finance and ops department. So that's very important.
I'm going to talk about the last section, which is growth and mindset shift. So we see this often that fashion brands, they start and shut down within 1 to 2 years span. A lot of fashion brands actually. What is that key advice you can give out of your experience to a new entrepreneur when they start afresh?
Okay. I think the first point that I'd mentioned, that you need to be true to
Yeah.
your instinct about the product, what you're making. And then you have to go with the mindset that you have to go all out. You cannot get bored You cannot lose heart with small criticism. You have to be constantly improvising your product. You will have to do it. So don't think that just because you got a negative feedback from someone, or somebody said something to you, or something broke your heart or shattered your dreams, it's over. No, it's not over. You have to be at it. I think one thing is resilience, very important. You have to be resilient to whatever is around you. You have to be at it. You have to be focused, and you have to have something that we were talking about earlier, discipline. I think discipline is something that I learned because of my Fauji background. I come from an army background. I saw my dad going for PT in the morning, doing his this thing at a certain time. It's just discipline, and it was just a part of my life from since I was a child. So that is something which is very, no matter what you're doing, whether it's your own business, whether you're at a job or anything, workouts, anything, discipline is very important. So for you to not crack or break in 2 years, you have to have certain things. We know your product very well. Go with the mindset that you have to go all out. Do not lose your heart. Do not lose hope with small criticism and small falls. No business is like this. No business. Everything has its curves. You will start, you may reach a plateau, you may even go down, and then you have to rise up. So many businesses were shaken by COVID, and the same businesses then went up. So there are like small full stops that'll happen, but you have to be at it. That is the only way. जिसे कहते हैं ना कि blinders लगा के, don't worry. Blinders लगा के, just keep doing your thing. Just keep doing your thing.
Any other common reason why these businesses fail?
I think I would say that if you're just chasing a trend, if you're just doing something because everybody's doing it, or you're trying to do something because you see, okay, this segment has a lot of money. This particular product is right now really trending in the market. Maybe I should start doing it. No, you need to find the niche. You need to find the gap. If it's not completely you need to find the gap that you see. For example, the biggest business success, Nika, for that matter, you look at how these women, I mean, I am generally inspired by everybody, but women in general, when they break barriers and they come up with this phenomenal stuff, it just inspires me. So you just find that niche, and you look at it, and you try to enter the market there, or you understand what product you want to do, how is it true to you, how you've had this instinct that you want to do this. You should listen to your gut, you should listen to your instinct, but then be ready. Sometimes mummy will also tell you, always your loved ones, like for example, my mom would sometimes tell me, Shilpi, do you think that your pricing is a little extra? And I would tell mom, no, this is what I want to do, and this is what I'm going to do. Your parents will support you, but you should also know what your gut is saying, because that's your inner voice, and you should listen to your inner voice, and then just be at it. Don't chase trends. Do what you truly believe in.
So yeah, actually missed out on pricing part also. Like, sorry, I'm getting back to the oldest section. How one can crack the right price, especially in a premium range. You know what has happened? I've seen entrepreneurs telling me, like, especially new age, because वो एक नया जज्बा होता है ना, न्यू ब्लड, कि मैं तो अपना प्राइस 10,000 ही रखूंगी, जिसको लेना है लो, नहीं तो ना लो. It's a good attitude, but it can also put you into trouble because you have to be sensible about your pricing. You cannot overprice, you cannot underprice. So, any tips on that, and some of the hidden costs that people don't realize when they start, and then they realize later on that, oh, they never kept those pricing in mind, which should be done. Like, I'm sure you also started Khara Kapas. What was your pricing strategy?
When I started pricing, when I started Khara Kapas, we were somewhere around 5,000 to 6,000.
Average price?
Average price was that time. But then what happens that when you start, so at that point of time, my costs were less. Times were different.
Times
I'm
were
talking about
different.
10 years
10
back.
years, yeah.
People did not talk to me about pricing at all that time. I used to do pretty well at that time also. But then I realized that I had to improve my processes. I had to get certain processes involved. There was a little bit of marketing cost. There was a little bit of customization cost. All of those costs that come into play. And then have a sweet price to begin with. Don't try doing a price. I mean, that's if you want. Like, for example, you are saying that somebody might say that I just want to sell it at this price. Then it's your call. But if you're somebody who's ready to experiment, which is a smart thing to do, to understand or let people test your product, keep slightly lower price. Let people test your product. If they like that product, they love it, they're asking for it again and again, then talk about increasing your pricing. Because what happens, demand and supply. If you feel that it's such a big hit and then you cannot do so many pieces, then you increase the price a little, whatever demand you can meet. And just make sure that you're constantly working on your product quality, because if you're selling a lot and your quality is going down, that is going to be a path that can just be really, really damaging for your brand. So keep improving your product, keep improving your product, always work on improvisation, but keep a sweet price, not very high. Test the market. If it's selling, थोड़ा सा वो रखो गैप, उसको करने के लिए कि थोड़ा सा नीचे कर सको, थोड़ा सा ऊपर कर सको. Nobody is born with the knowledge of having, you can't just know what's the right pricing from the beginning. तो वो एक्सपेरिमेंटेशन का स्कोप रखना चाहिए. I think that is the smart move. Start small, lower price, increase it if it's working, but don't go in losses. Have that sweet price. Keep, you should be able to make money, otherwise how will you sustain your brand?
When a brand is into scaling, how do they make sure that they do not lose the handmade or the sustainable emotion? Especially like say Khara Kapas, you have scaled very well, and it still gives the same vibe as it had earlier. So how did you maintain that?
I think I've always been very true to my product because that's my identity. Khara Kapas is my identity. It has shaped me into the person I am. So I'm not away from the brand. I'm not away from the business. I'm very involved in everything. I still know exactly how everything happens in my factory. So completely involved in the process. I've never gone away, and we've kept everything in house. We chose not to outsource any part of our production. The volumes increased, we increased the production capacity. It was a cost involved, but we did that because we experimented of doing a part of the production outside, but we realized that no, it's not going to work for us. A, we have a lot of customization. We work with a variety of buyers in India, outside India. So we can't have that. For at least for us, it didn't work in our favor. So we wanted to keep everything in-house and completely involved in the process. You as a boss, as a business owner, as a designer, have to be involved. I'm not saying get do micromanagement, because then you can't think big and you can't expand. But you need to know your things. You should have quality checks. You should have quality random meetings, random walk-in through departments. Just see the product. Of course, making it's a cycle that you'll have to put into place, and then it'll happen on autopilot. But you need to be involved completely. You should know your product. You should know everything about your product, no matter what product you're coming up with.
Do you mind telling what is that one thing that didn't work out for you during the outsourcing process?
We were not happy with the quality. We were not happy with the quality. We did like one small batch once, and we've done couple of rounds of doing batches, and we were not happy. So there was just, I mean, I'm somebody who's too involved in the process. So I sometimes, when the process, a piece is being made, I want to change something about it, or I want to just pick up pieces randomly and just see. And I want the freedom to do it. I don't want to. I just like having things under my own eyes, because I feel our product is such that that's very important. That I have full eyes on what is happening. So the outsourcing part never worked for us. So then we just decided, we took the sensible choice I think we made was that we kept everything in house from the beginning.
So you think a premium brand should also um, keep this in mind that outsourcing may be very difficult for them?
I think, yeah, for us it was difficult. But there are also successful brands that are outsourcing. Maybe they are okay with it. But in our case, maybe because we have a lot of customization and we work with various kinds of buyers. So for me, it was a bigger headache to get it outsourced. It just made more sense to have like a larger team in house. And for us, because luckily, because our systems were in place, our we could accommodate a lot of labor in our factory, so it became easier for us to manage it in house completely.
This is a fun question, okay? So, like, if this entrepreneur who's done multiple jobs, sort of sorted, she knows what kind of product she wants to make, and she wants to be placed in a market next to Khara Kapas or brands like Lovebird or Cord, say in Khan Market, what should she do differently today?
I think the person needs to be true to her aesthetics. That's it. Because each brand has its own identity, completely different from each other, completely different aesthetics, yet very powerful in their own visual language. And I think Khan Market is a place where you can, I mean, one, of course, you need to have the financial backing, because it is one of the most expensive markets. And I know it's not easy to sustain because you have huge rentals. But if you have that kind of money, then I think you need to be true to yourself and not ape anybody. Um,
Any product category that you think that
I think clothes
can
do
be
very well. Clothes do very well in Khan. Yeah. Although I feel that jewelry also does, but from my understanding and my feedback that I've got from other brands also, clothes always do well in Khan.
Any gap in even apparel industry that you see today? Or maybe if Shilpi has to do something new today, what you would do in 2025?
I don't know, yeah. Maybe I'll do shoes or
You do
bags.
shoes?
Bags I'm already doing. I might do shoes. Yeah, yeah. I think that's one category that I have not touched yet.
Yeah.
So if I would want to do it, I would.
And I see a lot of homegrown shoe brands nowadays, and they're extremely cool, like
I think that is because I wanted to
Gully
do
Labs.
footwear
Yeah.
designing at some point of time. I did touch shoes for some time, but I didn't. Again, I thought that I needed to focus more on clothes. But yeah, shoes. Why not shoes?
Gap wise, I was just looking at any product line that, maybe they can fill in, um, even in apparel.
I don't see a gap as such because I do see there are lots of brands doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
Maybe just separates because there's always demand for separates.
Yeah.
And I'm also somebody like maybe if I have to like do another vertical, I would do like separates only because I think that even if you're not wearing dresses and things, but you always want to pick up some basic separates. And right now, if you think of it, you want like something trendy or something nice with very clean cuts and something that you can wear to work or every day.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
no tam jam, just clean cuts.
Okay. More
Okay. More
casual.
casual, yeah, but still a very sweet price that you can buy. Yeah, that would be a nice category.
Um, Another price question, okay? Like, what are the margins one can get in a premium clothing brand today? What are the margins they can make in a category like this in 25?
It varies. It depends on what has been your credibility, how much name you've been able to earn for yourself, what is exclusive about you that you will not find anywhere else. Basis that you can have like larger margins if you're doing an exclusive drop. Like for example, you have now these sneaker brands that do these sneaker drops, exclusive drops that you will not find after a point of time. Then they can demand anything that they want to. So if you have something like that, then you have huge margins. But there has to be. It all depends on exclusivity, um, and is it like a capsule edit for a limited period of time, and there's nobody else who can do it, then you can get whatever you want. I think the scope of also similar product, you have like a higher potential and higher margin if you're selling it outside India, because
Yes, like you're doing international market. How's it working for you as compared
international.
to India?
So what you've realized that we can demand a much higher price in international market. That's the response that we've got because they love the pieces and they would probably position the brand at least um, 1x, 2x higher than what we are already retailing. That's the
You sell
constant
on the
feedback.
same website, right?
Yeah, say anybody like when my product outside India, it is positioned like people would pay like a higher price. So I think the international market, if your product is right, you've hit the right market, then you can demand
Uh-huh.
more competitive pricing outside India. Also because there's customs, there's shipping, and there's a
Yeah, yeah.
premium element attached to it. The kind of variety you can get, you will not get it, especially with handloom and sustainable fabrics. So I think you can demand a higher price outside
How
India.
much is your international market in
Uh,
terms of percentage, India
it
versus
is
international?
growing quite a bit now. So we already started working with a couple of stock lists, but majority of our business is still coming from India. But
Okay.
we would really like it to be 50-50 soon.
Oh, okay.
And I think we can reach that mark very soon.
Is it hard to crack international?
Mm,
Like, what is that first visibility one can get?
so I think Khan market, of course, has helped a lot
Acha,
because you
okay.
have a lot of tourists
So
who come.
you started international only after the Khan
No, no,
market
no.
store, is
We've been
it?
doing international for a very from the beginning.
From
I
beginning.
told you I used to sell on Etsy. So
Yeah.
online, I've been doing
So
international
Etsy is
for
a
donkey
great place
years.
to start for a new
Yeah.
entrepreneur.
Earlier it was better.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know what it is now, but earlier it was easy. Like the sign-up fees was very less.
Yeah.
Import-export license getting was not a problem. It was a very transparent way of doing transactions. But now I think it's become more cluttered.
Yeah.
But there was more visibility earlier. Um, but international, we've been doing from the beginning. We started keeping in mind that we would only be selling in the international market. Domestic came later. But I think what has happened is with people buying the product, seeing we already were working with boutiques and design spaces outside India in various markets, but now it's increasing. every year it increases. And I think that's because of A, the brand is established, people have an idea of the quality, um, and also retail presence, because you have so many tourists and so many buyers. Earlier it was only fashion weeks,
Yeah.
but now people are actually walking to markets. Your brand is more reachable, it's more, you've exposed it to a larger market. So I think
Yeah.
that also makes a difference. So retail also helps like that if you've positioned it in the right market.
And what any new plans for your life or work?
I do intend, so this isn't something that I've been thinking about, and I think that it's time I do it. So I have a lot of people around me who come and always ask me that, how do you manage your fitness routine? What do you do? What is it that you eat? And how do you doing all of this? So I want to say that there's nothing hidden or there is any secret ingredient or something that I do. So I do want to start talking about it a little bit more, and not because I want to be an influencer, or I want to, like, preach or do anything. It's something that I want to put out there for people like me who struggle, young mothers or mothers who are struggling with their fitness, or who are not able to balance their work life or their personal life. I think whatever little bit I do, I would love to share it with people, my community, or people who already reach out to me, and just make it more accessible, or just talk more about my art, my design, and my fitness. And I do intend to start something on those lines, building on it. So
And with
hopefully,
Khara Kapas?
Khara Kapas, my plan is to go all out.
Yeah.
I dream of making it like a massive, huge, I can't even put a number to it. Like, I just want it to be like big, beautiful, larger than what I could have even dreamt of. A brand that is available everywhere. It's outside India. It's every We have stores all across the world. I mean, I don't want to limit myself. Also, I just want to be
Out there.
all out there. I do just make it beautiful and bigger and bigger and bigger with every year.
That's such a great manifestation for the day, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.